and welcome to the Holy Rivals Show. I'm your host, Nathan Bomber Brown, and with me is my partner, the Wild Ute. What's going on today, Ute?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday night here.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. There was some news over the weekend that went along with realignment, and we wanted to sort of circle on that. We know that's the hottest topic that everybody comes here for. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a sort of call out for the next expansion opportunities, because even when this window ends, you're going to have schools that are going to prepare for the next window when they'll move, and we want to sort of assign percentages to those.
Yep, absolutely.
Anything you want to add to that, Ute?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, just to get your thoughts, folks out there, your thoughts as well. Anytime that you see something that you want to chime in on, you're free to call in. We'd love you to call in real time. So don't lose that thought that you're thinking of right now or whenever during the show, but jump on. And we've got, hey, Clint.
Yeah, we've got Clint. Welcome to the show, Clint.
Hey, y'all. How's it going?
That's okay. Better late than never, right?
Yeah, just had to get everything set up, realize the phone's on 8% battery. Okay.
I'm teasing. So I'm going to do an advertising bump, a little refresh for the listeners, and then I'll let you kick it off with you. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
All right, awesome. So first I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Please leave a comment, give us that thumbs up on YouTube, and subscribe so you get those notifications so you know when our shows is on. And also want to encourage you to either subscribe with the join button, and I've actually got that here. Hang on one second. So here's the join button. You guys didn't see it. It's hard for me to find, and I think it might be hard for you guys too. On the YouTube pages, it's really vague where you're supposed to go to join and sign up. So I'll just give you guys an example. So basically, it's a membership page. And then it gives you two different options. You can join in for $4.99. You get any background information that we have. We will turn around and give that to you before anybody else knows. And then you also, all your comments are going to be read, unless it's like, yeah, me or something like that. As long as it's practical, your comments will all be read. It's a little cheaper than doing the super chats. We love the super chats. Don't get me wrong. Those are great to see. But subscriptions are really where we want to see people go. It's cheaper and it's more engaged. It gives you guys more of a voice on the show. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think that's it's true here. So, hey, we're happy for any generosity. And like, this is a Holy Rivals community. It's not just about us. It's about everybody. We want to hear your voice. Really, that's what the show is all about. And speaking of that, let's give a couple call outs here. So Kaufman's in the house. How you doing, Kaufman? I see Riceman's in
nice.
So,
who else?
To you guys.
Oh, Riceman and C. Kaufman first in. Well, actually, I think I was first in, but nobody was around to see that.
Yeah, Big 12
anyway, I started laughing today when I did that. Okay, so 2 subscriptions. My second subscription is I'm getting some branded towels made that everybody who signs up for the $9.99, I'm going to send out a branded towel. You can put that behind you when you're at work, at home, so people can see what you really care about. But that'll be coming as well. So besides that, the other thing I want to share is Coug Connect is doing a live in-person meeting on Thursday at Chubby's in Orem. It's right north of the University Mall and just right next to the theater there. I think it's a Cinemark. Anyways, they're doing a show that is going to have up to 20 football players are going to be there. They're going to be signing. They're going to be autographing things. In the VIP room, there's going to be additional things they can do, additional signatures and pictures. But really, this is a recruiting event for people to go. They sign up. They do that $10 membership. And you will see a scroll down here during the show that has the link. Go to that link, click on it, sign up for $10 for that Cougar NIL, and let's get that started, guys. We're way behind, and if we want basketball players, for instance, we need money for NIL.
The other thing, the collectives, guys. Like, we need to support these collectives. That's the new era we're living in. We need to support BYU collectives and Utah collectives, like the Crimson Collective. We're trying to work with them too.
Yeah, if anybody's watching that knows how we can get a hold of them, please let us know.
Absolutely.
We're trying to track them down. They're very hard. They're slippery.
It's brand new. Yeah, like we're getting used to this game too. There's a few collectives in town that just started up, so
Right.
This is the way, guys.
This is the way. I like that. So I'm just going to read this real quick. Thursday night from 6:30 to 9, 20 players. I already told you where it's at. They're going to be offering these jerseys, which are really cool. They're all stitched. They're $90, and you get a signature from one of the players. You're going to sign that for free. So all these things are money that we give to the players. And like you was saying, these collectives, BYU and Utah, really need to support, because in our area, we're quite behind. I think some of that's probably because LDS people are cheap. But come on, $10, everybody can afford that. Anyway, enough of that. Let's move on, and let's go right back to our guest today. And our guest is Clint Foster. How you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful, man. Doing wonderful. How y'all been?
How about yourself?
Yeah, doing well. I love the hat.
Yeah. Oh,
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give a shout out to my friends at Fans Vintage for this one.
I like it.
There you
Script
go.
Frogs hats.
I like it. So, you go ahead. Actually, you invited Clint. Let's kind of get what you were thinking.
Yeah, so Clint, I wanted to bring you on because we're going to talk about the Horned Frogs. We're going to talk about some history too with our squads, and also I want to talk about your videos. And Bomber, we got to show the folks some of Clint's videos because they're hilarious.
Okay, I'm hoping you have those queued up on your end, right?
Yeah, I'll get them queued up. Here.
Okay, good. Because I don't have them queued up. If you wanted that was not going to work. All right, keep going anyway.
Yeah, so we just wanted to open up a conversation, bring Clint on, and get his thoughts on realignment space, and plus, really where the Horned Frogs are going to go after that epic season last year, or they're going to fall in the Big 12 in this upcoming season. So lots to talk about. We're going to be TCU heavy.
I love it.
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. Well, I love TCU. Always have.
That makes
really,
two of us.
Yeah, starting out, I think that maybe let's navigate into the realignment stuff first.
Oh, you want to do that first?
I certainly have a lot of expertise to share. Like I know anything that's going on in that.
All right,
space.
let me bring that up. Sorry, I was doing something else. You surprised me, my bad.
Hey, so so with the San Diego State stuff, but Clint, you know plenty about the San Diego State drama with your video that you put out last week.
Yeah, so basically what we're talking about, and that's what I'm trying to queue up, is we're putting a chart together, and we're going to do a percentages to see what's the percentage this school gets into a P5 this round, and then we can talk about the future opportunities. But the news this weekend is that San Diego State sent their 18 letters, and the Mountain West told them all no. If they want to leave, they're going to pay $17 million, and they're gone. If they want to come back, they have to reapply. There's entry fees. So, yeah, I don't know how that goes. But what do you think? I heard a number actually from a source today at lunch that
that information, Bomber.
It is. Well, for me, it is. I thought it was cool.
Okay.
That. Ever since September last year, when the Pac-12 turned down the ESPN contract, the corporation has got it in their head that they don't want to pay more than that 19 to 22 million for each team, and then that number's not going to move. It doesn't matter how long they wait. That number's not going to change. There was a question that had been posed to John Wilner. If they win, if maybe they send two teams, the Pac-12 does, to the playoff, if that would make it different. And they said it wasn't. It was all about ego at ESPN. So what do you think about that?
What's your thoughts, Clint?
The whole Pac-12 situation seems like a real failure of leadership, in my opinion. I can't speak with any kind of authority as to what is definitely going to happen. I see Tony Altimore's charts, and I see MHVer and Swaim saying their stuff, and I'm just kind of the peaceful, impartial third-party observer.
Right.
It's well, this is all very interesting and exciting, and let's see if I can extract any jokes out of this. But, man, the whole San Diego State situation is wild. All three of us coming from schools who left the Mountain West in their own time. Right. All had very clear landing spots, where they were going. And San Diego State never really appeared to have that. So, or at least not in my estimation, because you hear smoke about, is the Big 12 interested? Is the Pac-12 interested? Can the Pac-12 even pay literally any of their membership teams with the media deals that they may or may not have in the works? Frankly, I don't know what to make of any of it. But it doesn't seem it doesn't seem positive as far as the Pac-12 is concerned, just from my perspective.
Okay. What do you think about that information?
I mean, I think that it doesn't. I think that there has been poor leadership before George K, and now with George K too, and the communication's been poor. You know, I guess if the Pac-12 signs a slam dunk media deal, we might have different perceptions. But right now, it sure looks that way. And with the San Diego State stuff, how bizarro is this story, right? Like, talk about a weird story within a story.
It's true.
Just shooting your shot before there's a basket there. Like,
it's like exactly. Going all in and everything. And Clint Bauman and I talked about this with everybody last week, but really San Diego State, they went all in. It looks like it's because of the finances, right? I mean, they're only getting a few $1 million per year in media contract money from the Mountain West. So really, it's almost like they're going all in, saying, we'll pay a little bit and take a little risk here, but no matter what, we need more. We need more in this era of college football to survive, to thrive and actually compete. So from that perspective, I think it's a masterful play, honestly. I know you guys think that's nuts, probably. But I think that the aggressive.
It's a gamble one way or another.
That's right.
Yeah. Here. Let's go through an exercise here.
Okay.
So based on just what you understand of the situation, like none of us have inside information with this, right? So we're just kind of speculating here. But what's the percentage that you actually think San Diego State ends up in the Pac right now? What percentage would you throw on that?
I would say like 60%.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that the Pac is going to stay intact. I really think there's just a lot of what I'm seeing that makes the most sense to me points towards at least Colorado leaving, possibly one of the Arizona schools leaving. And the Pac-10 cannot continue to go on as an 8-school conference or less, right? So, and the Big 12 seems intent on continuing to expand, possibly by 4 more teams. I think San Diego State would be an awesome addition to the Pac-12, to the Big 12. But I don't know, I mean, we've heard everything from UConn to, Arizona State, Utah, like all over the place. So who the heck knows what your mark is thinking? I mean, it's a more natural fit for the Pac-12. Me, as a guy who longs for the olden days and the Southwest Conference and, regional football rivalries and how fun was that and what made college football special, right? I would love to see San Diego State in the Pac-12. It makes the most sense to me. And I think that that's probably the direction that the wind's going to end up blowing, in my opinion.
For sure. What do you think, Bomber?
I think there's a distinct possibility that they lose 2 schools, pick up 4, and in 2 years, they're relegated and are no longer a power conference.
Yeah. But in that case, the San Diego State would end up in the Pac.
It would, and SMU or Tulane or Memphis, whoever would be
right.
Second.
So I'm thinking around 70%. So I'm a little higher than you, Clint, and stuff on where the San Diego State ends up in the Pac. I also think there's a chance 10%, maybe 15%, San Diego State ends up in the Big 12, and then another 5-10% they end up in the AAC. So really, when you're boiling out all the math on this and the probabilities, I just don't see much downside. I think they're going to end up in a better spot, and the Mountain West is not a good spot, guys.
I think the AAC should right now. Oresco should be sending out feelers because they can't officially invite any of these schools in the Mountain West, but through intermediaries, let the Mountain West schools know that want to move. Fresno, Boise, San Diego State, Air Force, Colorado State. I'm not sure about Wyoming. UNLV would definitely be on the list, and say, let's do it. Come in. We'll split down the middles for everything. And the only thing we'll really cross over is those cross-divisional games that are like a few a year, and then maybe basketball tournaments and stuff like that. But they're already making more money, the AAC is. I'm not saying it's a stronger conference, but it's worth more money because of their location. So I think SDSU ends up in the AAC before they go back to the Mountain West.
Oh, definitely now. They can't go back to the Mountain West. I mean, that's like the worst case scenario. It's going back to the Mountain West.
Right.
If they're going to try to pull Boise, if they went to the AAC, they're going to try to pull Boise State and Fresno. Like if it's more money and they want to create a wing,
Yeah, I agree.
Talk about like really just totally destructing the Mountain West and going AAC. But this is like a bad scenario. We're talking about better scenarios, more likely in the Pac or even in the Big 12. So from those perspectives, I think that it was just a good call that they're not going to get tied up for another year in the Mountain West, guys. So
yeah.
I mean, that's the.
So we've just been talking. We can jump ahead here to SDSU. What was your percentage to the Pac-12?
So yeah, throw it out, Clint.
Yeah, I was saying like 60%.
Okay, and then what were you saying, the Big 12?
Let's say like 15%.
Okay, and then I didn't type it in here, but I'm going to put AAC in here. What's the AAC number?
Let's do some math here. Where am I at?
You're the one who put in the 15, not me.
let's say 20% AAC, 5% completely homeless.
Yeah, and that's homeless. And
we're turning to the Mountain West. Hey, I think we got to 100 there.
Yeah,
not get us to 100.
Yeah.
So do you want Mountain West in there or nothing in there?
We got to have Mountain West in there.
All right.
Okay, yeah. Put Mountain West as
okay. I just want to make sure. And by the way, anybody who's watching, please give us your comments. We want to read those. Philip is really good about reading those things, and we want to get that out to you guys. So please leave your notes in the comments, and we will definitely bring them over. Also, a quick bump, if you want your super chat, we definitely read all those. And the last thing is, if you subscribe, all your notes are actually given. All right. So Mountain West Conference, you say, is 5?
Yeah, I mean, after you've sent a Dear John letter like they did and really put their collective foot in their mouth, I mean, I feel like Mountain West, they're going to have to do some groveling to get back in. And also, like, would they want to do that? Probably not. So I think they'd sooner go to the AAC than have to come crawling back to a conference that apparently everyone is trying to jump off as quickly as possible.
I am totally in agreement with that. What do you think about UConn?
Anyway, before we
go ahead.
Stuff, so Luis Carlos Diaz is in the house here, and he's
hey, Luis.
He's saying 70% Pac for San Diego State. He's saying 10% Big 12 and 20% back to Mountain West.
So, really?
Different view, yeah. But I'm a little bit more with Clint over here, probably. Yeah, I think Mountain West, like, you don't want to go back now.
Yeah, that's too awkward.
I think it would be really tough. Not impossible. They've left before and then said sorry. So it's not the first time they would have done that. But can you imagine they pay $17 million? They already lost their points for all the NCAA basketball games. So those credits are gone. They can't get those. The only way they can claim them is to sue the Mountain West. And then the last thing is they're going and they're jumping from place to place to place. They're unreliable. It's not a good look. So who knows, right?
Yeah.
Any other comments you saw there?
That's one of the directly related to San Diego State.
Well, let's do UConn because I know that's basically been the UConn and SMU are the other two. What do you guys think about UConn's chances? And I've heard people talk about UConn to the Pac-12, believe it or not.
Oh, I would say less than 1%.
Geography has to mean something, right? It has to mean something.
Yeah, well. I'm doing this. This is like scientific.
Everyone's favorite Pacific University, Connecticut.
Yeah,
that's
fine. I don't really care. Hey, we don't do real things around here, Cliff. Come on. All right, so you say UConn 0. I'm agreeing with that.
Yes.
How about the Big 12?
This could happen. I mean, Lord knows West Virginia is dying for more travel partners.
Right.
And that basketball, the men's and women's basketball for UConn is valuable. Football is just going to be that's going to be your new Vanderbilt, automatic W for everybody, especially now that Kansas is getting a little bit better. I'm going to say, 70 feels high, but I feel like there's a lot of smoke around UConn coming to the Big 12. Let me say 70.
Okay. Versus, because remember, we have nothing down here too. So if you think that they just won't get the invite this round, all I have to do is just say nothing and we'll put it there. But we'll go 70 here.
I'd be fine with UConn getting invited to the Big 12.
I would too. They get money. I think they'll win and they'll do better recruiting and stuff. All right, Philip, what do you think about Big 12?
I think, the Pac, let's move that 70 down.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I'm sorry. I read them upside down. I apologize.
And I'll chime in here, but we've got a lot of stuff going on in the chat. I'm going to give some people kudos here. So Robert's in the house and he's saying, He's saying here for UConn to the Big 12 at 75%. I'm thinking more 60. So
60.
I'm a little lower, but I think that it's probable still. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna let your number work. We'll freeze Cliff out on that one.
Bye.
Wait, Clint, is that a Rose Bowl shirt? Are you?
It is.
Rose Bowl TCU?
Oh my goodness gracious!
I had to bust that out for this podcast.
Gosh, I love TCU.
That is fantastic. Hey, by the way, I said Cliff and not Clint. I apologize.
You're fine.
When I make mistakes, I like people to know their names are important. Okay, so Pac-12 for UConn, you're going to say 0, right?
Yeah, I think everything else is 0. I think they're sticking in the Big East if not.
Okay. All right. Let's have somebody in the. Let me start assigning some homework here. Hey, Tulane, I'll let you pick yours. You put your numbers in there. I'll use Tulane's numbers. And let's see, Boise State, is Bronco here? I don't see.
We got Tulane Tim in the house, so he's gonna have to throw out.
Yeah, Tulane is good. Yeah, Tulane Tim. That's what I meant. Thank you. Is gonna. So you tell us your numbers for Tulane. Do we have an SMU person in the house? If you do, put a thumbs up.
There's not many of those.
Yeah, Fresno or Boise State. I'm calling those out. Memphis. Otherwise, we're just going to do them. Let's start over here in the pack. These are the ones that are pretty much the most. Yeah, so CU stays in the Pac-12.
Clint, yeah, what do you think?
Come on home, Colorado. I'm saying I think it's 20% they stay in the Pac-12, 80% they're coming to the Big 12.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
are you okay with that, Ute?
Oh, I'm not quite that aggressive, but I think it's a 60-40 Big 12 pack.
How about what would that be? It'd be 70 and then nothing is 10.
Yes.
Meaning nothing will change, right?
Yeah. So
well, they're already in the Pac-12.
Pack.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so yeah, 70-30 then.
70-30. That's
all right. That sounds good. All right. Yeah. Here we go. Tulane. He's got his number in there. Thank you, Tim. So he says 30 for the pack. Can you read those, Ute?
Yeah.
30 for
the pack. We've got 5% for the Big 12.
Okay.
Tulane, Tim. 60% for the AAC, which they're in.
They're already in that. Okay.
And then 5% for nothing. So really no Mountain West.
No Mountain West.
I'd love to have Tulane in the Big 12. I would love to go to New Orleans every other year.
We're short 5. So where do I put 5 at?
So the 5 is nothing. So,
it was nothing on 5.
AAC, so 65% of the AAC.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I probably should just get nothing. Only applied to San Diego State, frankly.
Cougar is opining over here on the CU move. He's saying that there's only a 25% shot at CU moving to the pack. Or it's moving to the Big 12, sorry.
20%?
25%.
25%.
So he's not very optimistic.
Can he say why? Explain that. If you can.
Cougar Trex, call in and explain that.
Well, I haven't given him a number. So
which one of those top secret board meetings was about not moving to the pack?
All right, invisible number.
So this invite is going to Tulane Tim. If anybody else accepts it, I'm going to make Ute come and mow your lawn. All right, here we go. There you go, Tulane Tim. I put the number in there. If you want to join us, click on it. Otherwise, don't worry about it. All right, let's get back here. How about U of A? What are we looking at Arizona?
So, from all of the rumor mill stuff, it seems like Arizona has had more interest in moving to the Big 12 than Arizona State.
Right.
And they seem a little bit more comfortable in severing that tie than the other way around. So I might say, I'm not convinced that they're ready to jump ship, but I'd probably say 60-40 to the Big 12.
Are you okay with that, Ute?
Yeah.
I'm actually okay with that as well. All right, very good. So that was easier than I thought it might be. How about Arizona State?
50-50.
50-50. Yeah, it's a dice roll.
Yeah,
I think it's less than that, but I can go 50-50. It's fine.
They don't. I think want to leave.
Well,
but also I don't think they want to get left in the dust either.
Oh, we've got somebody horning in on Tulane Tim's number. All right.
Hey,
Larry, I'll bring you in.
Whoever wants to call in can call in.
I'll bring him in. No, don't open it up to everybody. I can't take everybody. I know it's Pilgrim. Hey, Larry.
Hey, guys. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Hey, I just wanted to come on to give you my email. I've been trying to email you, and it just keeps rejecting it. So
okay, here. I'll just put it in here, and you can just send it to me, okay?
Hey,
Okay.
Larry,
Because
while
I've
you're
been
on
wanting
here,
to. I've been wanting to talk to you. So
Yeah,
hey, Larry, while
my
you're on,
stuff.
you're gonna have to make a prediction about the Utah. What's our likelihood of moving to the Big 12? What's your percentage?
okay, try that email, Larry.
Okay. I'm thinking. I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm thinking it's probably a 60% stay in the Pac-12.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Yep.
I mean, judging by the Twitter rhetoric, it sounds like most Utah people would rather go down with a ship than
Hey,
join
Clint.
the Big 12.
Hey, Clint. We're married.
Yes.
We're not. We're married. We're not divorced yet. If we get divorced, we're gonna fall in love with our new wife. That's how we do it.
All right.
And I want to. We say that every show that Larry's on, and I try to reiterate it on other shows, but everybody just dial down their rhetoric about Utah, because in the Big 12, they are going to be a fantastic partner. They're the most loyal. They've already proved how their loyalty works. And I'm telling you, the numbers at the Big 12 could easily go up at the next media contract. And maybe, possibly, it could be for this media contract if there's enough value. So everybody just dial it back on Utah. I think it got off to a bad start. You had some bad actors there at the beginning on Twitter, but yeah, it's not a big deal at this point.
I loved playing Utah in the Mountain West days. I really did. And it is a sin against nature for BYU and Utah not to be in the same conference. I'm just going to go ahead and say that.
It's disgusting.
Well, we agree with you.
Bring in Boise State and let's see if we can't run the Big 12.
You know what? That would be fun, I think. That would actually be fun. Yeah. I don't know what happened here with my UConn numbers. I put 60% Big 12. We never finished. Is it going to go to AAC, or it's just 60%?
You should have had the 40% nothing.
Oh, that's it. See, I knew I was using 40 or nothing for something.
You had nothing for something.
Yeah. Hey, Larry, do you have an opinion about Boise State, Memphis, Fresno State, or SMU?
Oh,
or all of them?
Boise, actually, it's kind of weird. I've been really looking over the viewership numbers, and Boise State is pretty impressive. I've seen some of their time slots and the channels they're on. They've actually done better than some of the mid Big 12 teams in the same time slot on the same channel.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, so if you go back and look at some of them ratings, it's really shocking how good Boise State does.
I think what you're seeing there, though, is they're not just recruiting for football, right? That's the problem. Is if you could just recruit them for football, I think they'd almost be an automatic in. But you got to bring the rest of the school along with them.
Boise State, and I'd say 10, 15 years, because I lived out west. We've seen how much Boise and Idaho's growing.
Right.
So it's going to become a bigger university, bigger brand, and they don't have any local professional sports. And so, I mean, that's all they eat there in Idaho is football. So
that's right. Well, that's that or potatoes. That's all they have access to.
Yeah, and we love them. We love the potatoes and the Bluefield. Yeah.
I've got a note here from Stephen, who's saying Oregon and Washington is 50% to the Big 12, which I hadn't put them on there. And then he says, no, sorry, I apologize. Oregon, Washington being in place, I guess, in the Pac-12 is 50. And then he says it's 35 to the Pac.
No, I got to jump in.
Go ahead.
Thanks for the comment. We love that. But I just don't see it, guys. I don't see the Big 12 for Oregon and Washington. I think they're going to fight and claw. I think there's less than 5% shot of that happening in the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, if Arizona leaves, and it's sort of the linchpin at this point, then really what's holding the rest of it together? Enough of it. I mean, can't those two schools be pragmatic and say, we'll go to the Big 12 for 5 minutes, a cup of coffee. And then when the Big comes calling, if they give them a free out, why not go? You're going to make more money. You're going to get better merchandising because you're going to a whole other set of fan bases, a little more travel, but it's mostly about your exposure at this point. And the Big 10, you do 2 or 3 good seasons in the Big 12, and now all of a sudden you're shoe-in for the Big 10. That doesn't sound reasonable?
I just for the Big Ten, getting them in the Big Ten.
No, going from the Big 12, using it as a bridge to the Big Ten.
I just don't see it like I don't see the alignment. You think that Utah fans are bad with pushing back for
I know
things, like AAU status and everything else. I think that you're going to run into a different breed if you actually talk to Washington fans and their view of really moving over to the Big 12. I think that's the reality of it. I think that they just think. I mean, there's even tiers in the Pac guys. Like Washington's kind of like they think they're on the upper echelon of the Pac-12. Even like maybe above a Utah and stuff. And,
sure they do.
I think you're right. I think you'd hear even more of that, the truck stop conference talk from like a Washington or an Oregon, but thinking they're too good for that.
But why do we care? If they bring more money, why does that matter?
Well, you don't care. It's great.
It doesn't matter.
No, I'm talking about them. Why not be pragmatic and just keep that attitude? Nobody's asking you to change it.
I just have a hard time. Plus, I mean, you're getting more into like the cultural fits too.
Right.
You're dealing with these West Coast schools and everything. I'm just not sure alignment culturally with some of the other Big 12 schools might fit as easily as an Arizona or Utah or Colorado.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I was only just positing a separate idea. I don't think Steven's idea is out of the window. It's just like you said, there's a lot of hurdles.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we'll just leave it there. We weren't even going to count it. So, Steven, thank you very much for your comment. I really appreciate that. Did we get anything over there, Ute, on Memphis, Boise State, Fresno, or SMU?
Doesn't look like we don't have anything yet on those in the chat, but I'll be monitoring.
Yeah, that'd be great. We can leave those there. So, Larry, we brought in Clint because he does all these funny videos, right?
Yeah, I've seen Clint's videos. I love them. They're awesome, man.
Appreciate that, Larry.
Yeah.
Do you have one queued up, Ute, that we can bring in? And
I'm gonna work on that right now. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. If you get that set up and put it in, just let me know. Clint, I did have a question for you. How long does it take to produce one of those videos?
Well, it depends on what I'm doing. But I mean, it takes me time to obviously come up with. I mean, I have like a running note where I just like throw ideas at the wall, basically. It's easy like during football season because I know every week I'm going to be doing TCU fans, right? And usually that's like a 24-hour turnaround because I take notes during the game, just like stream of consciousness. I work those into a script, and then most of my time is spent shooting and then editing. I spend a lot of time editing those and try to get them out, like usually the Sunday after a game. But usually it's about, I'd say on average, it's about a day-long process to get a video produced because I don't try to do anything. I'm not trying to win any Oscars. Right. So I typically try to get things turned out fast, and usually, so like I teach high school these days. Okay. So in the summer, I have a lot more time to play around and do stuff. But like during the school year, it's like, oh my God, I got like a spare minute right here. Like, let me see if I can do a little editing on this or that.
You need an intern that can come in and do some time on their hour when they're seniors. They can come in there and do your videos for you.
That'd be a great grift if I could pull that off. Yeah.
Can you say I need a TA and they can come in and do your videos for you? Once you get a TA. Credit. No. What I'm saying is, once you get a TA, a senior guy who doesn't even want to come to class anyway, give him something to do. Who cares?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Anyway, but I have fun with it. It's a great. As somebody who I spent 3 years out in LA doing comedy and acting, and this is a great way that I can still kind of exercise that muscle and get some fulfillment from that part of my life, and still, pay my bills.
Fantastic. Do you have one?
Yeah, I threw in the private chat, Bomber. So why don't you try to pull that up because you got the audio over there.
Yeah, I do have the audio. Okay.
So in the meantime, when you're getting that pulled up, I want to hear your guys' thoughts though here on Memphis. Here, where are we going with Memphis?
I mean, they feel like a fit in the Big 12 to me, but I don't think I've seen as much interest online regarding Memphis for whatever reason. And it may just be, I don't know. I don't have all of the charts, I don't know how many eyeballs each school is pulling or whatever. And obviously Memphis has a tremendous basketball tradition, but they don't seem to pull the same number of eyeballs as a UConn. And they're also not really expanding your geographical footprint, I don't think, in as significant of a way. So to me, Memphis, I feel like, is just staying where they're at. I don't see them really moving anywhere.
Okay. I've got your video. Let me bring that up. Now, which one are we going to see here? Which is this with this guy?
This is San Diego State.
Okay. All right. Oh, this is a commercial, not this one.
This is La Divorce.
Did everybody hear that?
Yeah. No audio, Bomber.
No audio. What the hell? All right, hang on a second. Oh, it's because I turned it off. Sorry. My bad.
That'll do it.
That's not going to work if I have it off. All right, here we go.
Hey, I got your text. We need to talk? Yes. Sit, please. What's going on? I want a divorce. What? Why? There's someone else. Who? Oh, I can't tell you that. It's super secret. Weird. Trust me. Trust you. Yes. Wow. 20 years together, and you want to end it just like that. I mean, think of all of the great memories that we had together. All those fourth place finishes, all those poinsettia bowls. Excuse me? I have won 3 conference titles. So you make one basketball national championship and all of a sudden you're too good for this? What? So you don't want me to be happy? Hold on a second. I did not say that. Oh, you are suffocating me. What? Oh, I can't believe I ever left the whack for you. What is happening right now? Excuse me. I'm going to call my new partner. I am out of here today. Hey, you. It's me. It's me. San Diego State. Silly. Yeah. Well, so anyway, I was just thinking yeah, no, it's no problem at all. But do you think Okay. Hey, hello? So I need to stay like another month or 2.
Mama, man of means by no means.
That is hilarious. I
love it. The facial expressions, you got it all. That comedy work.
I appreciate that, y'all.
Yeah, no, I think that's really cool. What's your reasoning for doing them? Are they just for fun, or do you have any messaging or anything you try to communicate?
Well, yeah, I mean, initially it was just, it was during 2020 when I started doing them, and there were no auditions going on at the time. I'd already moved back to Texas at that point, but I still had representation in LA and nothing was auditioning. I was just like, I just need something to do. Because at the time I was working for a construction company. I was like, I got to do something creative, right? And so I just made one video just like, oh, I think this would be fun. And then it got a lot of views and I was like, oh, okay. Like, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And now it's just really fun. It's just a fun hobby to do. And I'm kind of a very small C minor TCU celebrity. So like, it's fun to like, get offered beers. And, hey, I know you from YouTube. Actually, it was really fun. This last football season, I was hanging out with Wayne Daniels before a game. Because I was an equipment manager when I was in college at TCU.
Oh, cool.
And my sophomore year was the Rose Bowl season. So I was hanging out with Wayne, who was a defensive end on that team. And, you know, we were walking around tailgates and everyone's like, oh, Wayne Daniels, oh my God, like here's a beer, blah, blah, blah. And we walked by this one tailgate and they were like, oh my God, Clint Foster. And they had no clue who Wayne was. And I was like, oh, shoes on the other foot now, isn't it? He was like, whatever, bro.
Hey, if you're into it just for fun and then you get those freebies on the side, I say ride that horse till it dies.
Like,
Got nothing to lose.
fun.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Larry, do you have any questions for Clint?
No. I just my favorite videos he did was the auditions. Those were, those are gold. Those are probably going to be forever in that library. And
do you have those links, Ute?
Yeah, I'll get them. Yeah.
Oh, I'm subscribed to his channel, so.
Well, if you just post them, I'll put them in here. That's
I'm on StreamYard on my phone, so not on my.
No worries, that's fine.
I think 21 is when I did those. I think. But it was when it was looking like the Big 12 was going to collapse in on itself.
Like and then the next year, as the turntables turn, that was awesome.
I like that a lot, actually.
Yep. So,
I want to call out Glenn Lumen here, our follower from the Philippines. Hey, Glenn. Hope you're doing well. One of these days, we're going to need to have you on the show. You can tell us why you're out there and what other stuff you want to see, because Philippines is far away, and we miss you.
Why are you there?
Hey, Clint, I found a video that I really want to watch here. I haven't seen this one. Tell me if it's an appropriate video for the channel.
Well, all of my videos are appropriate.
It's the BYU Big 12 orientation.
Which one?
The BYU Big 12 orientation.
Oh, yeah, sure. I've gotten a lot of BYU views on that one.
I don't know it, so I'm sure it's the derogatory towards BYU, but
I mean, not exceptionally so. But
at the end of the day, it's just for fun, right? What you need to do is make one for Utah. You make one for Utah, and then I'll definitely put it on all of my channels.
So with the 4 teams that got added, I did an orientation video for each of them where it's
right.
like they
no, I'm teasing. I'm just teasing. Yeah. You send me put the link in the comments, and I'll bring it up. I'm not afraid. You're not going to scare me.
I'm not afraid.
I'm not afraid of nothing.
You will be.
While you're doing that, I'm just looking through here to see if we can get some more comments. Let's see. Luis says SDSU with popcorn, I think is what that is. I'm hoping is that popcorn?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Clint says back the pack. He's definitely a Pac-12 booster. Let's see here. Clint Moses, another note. He says, Mr. Go 30 and Clint Foster, best college football skits. Would you agree with that?
Would I agree with that?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot of others.
Oh, okay. You don't know that.
I was made aware after I started doing this of SEC shorts.
Oh, those are hilarious.
And they do great stuff.
Yeah,
they do great stuff. And so, I mean, I've been very intentional about never touching the SEC. Initially, it was because I was like, they get enough attention. I want the Big 12 to have its own thing. Right. And then I learned about SEC shorts. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that's their purview. They can do that. But the breast exam.
Yeah, who's seen Office Space?
Hey, Peter.
That's hilarious, right? The breast exam dude that was a famous skit.
Check out Channel 39.
We don't need to go into any more of that. I don't know.
Well, I think you're the best in the business here. I mean, like really for videos, you're top notch. I love Bearcat Matt stuff for other kind of funny graphics, but man, you got the best stuff. So hey, Bomber, I up in the chat here, I'll pull up that BYU video too, and then after that we'll get back into the predictions.
Okay, great.
There he is. Well, hello, Baylor.
We're not seeing it.
You're not watching it?
No, it's not on the screen.
That's weird. Okay, let me try it again. How about now?
Yep.
I have never seen this, but that is hilarious, actually. All right, go ahead.
Okay, waiting for him to pick up. There he is. Well, hello, Baylor. Did you call because you're finally ready to hear about the Lord? No, all good on that front, BYU. I was actually, come on now. Did you know that Jesus lived right here in the USA? Well, technically he's alive in all of us, but I can assure you he was never physically. Now, I know you've read the New Testament, but just wait until you get a load of the sequel. There should be one in the hotel nightstand near you. No, stop it. Not what I called about. Oh, say no more. When I call myself the Notre Dame of the West, it's really not a Catholic thing, but I'd be more than happy to hear your confession if that's what you need. I have nothing to confess. You sure? Yes, I have nothing to hide anymore. So you called to welcome you to the Big 12? Although I'm not feeling so welcoming anymore. Geez, you have a gift, man. Oh my golly, Baylor. Well, that is just so kind of you. Yeah, it's true. I am pretty wonderful. Well, I got to admit, it is great to be in a conference again. And it'll be great to get another crack at TCU. Frick those guys, am I right? Ugh, preach. Oh, I knew you'd come around. Nope, not what I meant. Okay. No muss, certainly no fuss from me. Is there anything I should know? I mean, I've played all the Big 12 members at one time or another. Well, let's see. Iowa State's good now, so that's new for everybody. Texas Tech and Oklahoma State are basically the same school. It's just one's way nicer than the other one, so you'll be into that. Kansas. Oh, I am very excited for that road trip. Why? Easy win? No, it's right by the site of the original Garden of Eden. Speaking of travel, West Virginia is a pretty unique spot. I know, right? Usually when my players travel to the third world, they get 2 free years of eligibility. I'm teasing. Okay, that was a good one, BYU. Well, what about you? I mean, we haven't seen each other, gosh, since the 80s. But what can I look forward to at your games? We have this amazing tradition at our new stadium. It's called sailgating. Ooh. You know, that sounds just like how the ancient Jews came to America. Also sounds like a great place to share a soda before a game. Oh, now that we can agree on. Oh, speaking of agreeing, there's just a few things I wanted to make sure the whole conference understood before we really got things going. I have to have my own TV network. I'll only play games when I want to play them. After all, I'm the most important team in the conference. And if you make fun of me in a way I don't like, that will make me very upset. Oh my God. We just got another one. See now, if that was a polygamy joke, it's not funny.
All right.
You pulled the hair back, man. That's a clean look right there. I've seen that.
I haven't watched that one in a while. I can't remember what much it was about.
I know this is going to blow everybody but Larry's mind, but I was at that Baylor game.
Oh, what were your takeaways?
No.
Well, for me, it was just fun to be there. I'm from Washington State originally, so to come down and go to a game in Provo was special. So for me, it was, always like to see wins, but at the end of the day, I was really into the team. My dad was best friends with one of the, he was the administration guy for all the players. So we got to, I'm not sure this was on that trip, but met Lavelle Edwards and Robbie Bosco and a few players. Anyway,
awesome.
So yeah, good stuff. Didn't mean to diverge you guys. I apologize. All right. We need to do let's buzz through these. FedEx, what do we think? All three of you.
I'm saying for the Pac, 0. For the Big 12, Memphis, I'm saying 10%.
Okay.
I'd say like 5.
You like 5? I'm going to go with Clint since he's closer to him. All right, next. Are they already in the AAC?
Yeah, I'm like, where are they? Where are they right now?
I think they are.
They're in the AAC.
So should we just do 95 then?
Yeah. What do you think, Larry? Memphis, do you see them moving over to the Big 12?
No, 0%.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right. How about Boise State? Let's do this. The emotional choice is I would love Boise State in, but because of demographics like Utah to the Big Ten, right now it's just not going to happen. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah. Okay. I think it's sad. I'm a Boise State fan, and on this channel, Bronco, is it Blaymeyer? It runs one of their interaction sites. He does, I think he's been doing about 4 or 5 years, all Boise State stuff. And yeah, he's still high on them. He thinks that possibly they could get in, but I think that'll be really tough. Big 12, we're going to say 0, or you want to put 10, 5?
I think 0. I mean, I don't truly understand the intense Boise State aversion with all Power 5 conferences, but yeah, I think 0.
Okay. How about the move to the AAC with San Diego State?
That has that's not talked about, but I would say 10%. How
about you, Larry?
I say 0%.
Okay, so I'm gonna say 10% and disagree with you. But I do think there's something there. I really do. They're not talking about it all, but I gotta believe that's the backstop for San Diego State. If it isn't, then San Diego State did the worst business move in the outside of New Coke. It was the worst decision ever put into the public sphere. We'll just leave that 90% for Mountain West. Mm-hmm. Fresno State, same odds. Do you guys think any chance they're going to go to the Big 12 or Pac-12 for that matter?
There's something here if Cal and Stanford leave.
Right.
If that were to happen, then Fresno's basically, I think, a shoo-in for the Pac.
Yeah. Okay, well then.
But you need that first domino to fall.
Right. Right now, 0%. But when that domino falls, I would say 90%, right? So, it could happen. It's not wherever that falls in between, say 5%, just to give it something.
Well, I'm giving credit for this is assuming something happens, right? Just one chink in the armor, and then we just have a cascade. I think the Pac-12 has legs. I'll just put 10% there. How about the Big 12?
Zero.
Yeah,
zero.
I don't think they're going to the Big 12 either. AAC, what about that move?
I think Big 12 kind of makes sense a little bit. I would say 15%.
You're just parroting Baltimore.
What do you mean?
You are just parroting.
Hey, you better
Baltimore.
show us a chart if you're gonna.
Yeah,
let me go get the data.
That is a Tony Baltimore stat.
Why wouldn't you want Fresno State, and why would you want San Diego?
One thing, it's not a destination. I don't want to go into the middle of California and die, on the side of the road because my car breaks it down or something. I want to go to San Diego State. I want to go to Cal or Stanford. But there's no way I want to fly to Fresno State.
You miss me with the whole Bay Area.
Okay, so check this out. So San Diego State came over to the Big 12, which we're saying 15%. Unlikely, right?
Well, that's what you said. I'll put it on there, but okay. Keep going.
It's less than that, though, because I'm just thinking of a travel partner,
right?
Or in California. So just throw 5%.
You don't think San Diego State would be their travel partner?
San Diego State's travel partner would be Fresno, I think.
That's on is Fresno.
Their travel partner could be Arizona, just as easily.
We're on Fresno right now.
Right. I just think that there's having two California teams might make sense for the Big 12 if they go into California.
Okay, so you wanted 15% there, is that right?
Give a 5%.
Oh, 5. Okay. All right. How about the AAC move?
10%.
Yeah.
Larry, what do you think on that? That
0. I think travel through the AAC to the Mountain West areas are just bad. Too expensive, not enough money to cover the cost of travel.
All right, I'll put that 5%.
Yeah.
I appreciate what you're saying because it's true. Travel back east, they would have to come up with a schedule that would account for all that travel.
And yet USC's in the same conference as Rutgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, but
they're
they
also
got 100 million.
Yeah, they're making 80 million to start, something like that. And then the Mountain West, which is already in. Do you just want to put the balance?
The balance, yeah, 80.
80, okay. All right. And the last one, which is the one that they want the most about, and I'm surprised. I know we had some SMU people watch us, I think it was 2 weeks ago. I'm surprised nobody's here from SMU. But what do you guys think about the SMU to Pac-12?
Yeah, there's a real chance. I'm saying 40.
Yeah.
40?
That seems to be the way the wind's blowing. But let me tell you what, and I'm not saying this as a TCU fan. I'm saying this as a DFW native.
Right.
I think that all of the excitement about SMU to the Pac-12 is really, really misplaced because it's all a lot of, well, wouldn't it be great if, right? If SMU had all this funding, they might be good. If, anybody in Dallas cared about SMU games, if they had running water at their stadium, right? Like there's, it's SMU. Well, SMU in the 80s is not SMU in 2023. Right. They're nowhere near that competition level. They could be, they theoretically could be, and their NIL is in a good position to be. But I don't know. I feel like every team has a learning curve. Utah experienced it going to the Pac-12. We experienced it going to the Big 12. Boy, SMU is going to have a lot of years, even in a weak Pac-12, where they are not able to do squat before they're able to add any legitimate value to that conference. I think it's and the assumption that, oh, look, we're adding this Dallas school, we're going to get all these eyeballs.
Yeah.
There are infinitely more TCU fans, infinitely more Texas Tech fans, and A&M fans and Texas fans. Ain't nobody an SMU fan in Dallas-Fort Worth.
So let's talk about that because that was in the article that John Wilner put out today, that they capture 4.1 million homes if they take SMU, which would immediately be the largest market, by the way.
There's no way. They don't have 4.1 million living alumni.
So do you think they take 1% of that, 8% of that? They have to have somebody watching them.
I mean, like they have like a 30,000 seat stadium that they never sell out.
Right.
I mean,
and you got to assume though they'll sell. Just assume that they will sell out 30,000 seats if they went to a big league.
I mean, it's just the thing is like TCU had 20 years of building a following in addition to our very small alumni base going through the WAC and Conference USA and having LT and being in the Mountain West and winning games and making it to the Rose Bowl. It was a climb to get there, you know? And even now, TCU fans are not a majority of the entire Metroplex. I mean, there's a lot of excitement and interest in Fort Worth, but SMU hasn't done any of that. You know, it's all conjecture. It's all what ifs. And none of that's been borne out.
So did you happen to catch that Wilner article today? Or
I didn't,
Larry, did you happen to catch that?
Yeah.
And what do you think about that? Because I think that's a grandiose claim to just assume because the school's there, you're going to capture all those households. Most of those households are Cowboys fans, and they're going to be paying attention to Texas Tech or, you know, all over. So what do you think about that being in his article?
The only reason that the Pac-12 would really go after SMU is if they have 4 million. I think the Pac-12 gets $2.85 for every household. So just
regardless if they watch it.
Regardless, there's carrier fees, and I think the Pac-12 is $2.85 per household. So that's, to me, that's the reason they would bring them in. They're worth just $10 million to the network.
Okay.
And but yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
But yeah, I would rather. I mean, Fresno, I know they have academic issues, but Fresno would be a better ad than SMU in my opinion. Even Boise, but they're not going to bring the value, which really sucks.
I think that is a really cool, and maybe an article, his previous articles, he mentioned the carrier fees. I didn't realize that was something that, because it's in their contract now, but we can't assume it'll be in the next contract, right? I guess that would maybe be dependent on them getting SMU. That's an interesting dynamic I've never thought about before. And it's a different negotiating stance as well. So maybe that adds a little bit of a wrinkle to the question. But at the end of the day, and we're getting comments here. I know Yude has been watching this, but there's just a few of these that I wanted to reach. Let's see. Where was I at? I just saw him. Clint Moses says pony up, but he's an Oregon State fan, so I'm not sure how much we can take that. I'm just teasing Clint. I love you. He says, and this is a fact, I'm going to post this so everybody sees it. SMU's incoming transfer class ranks above everybody in the Big 12 except for OU. BYU is up to 18 or 17, but SMU has been at the top. How much of that is because I guarantee you after the Kliavkov visit in the spring, they told these guys they were going to be in the Big 12. Who believes that?
Oh, yeah. I think so. Yeah. I mean, they visited a campus.
Is that what you believe, Larry?
Yeah. There's word going around. So, and SMU's got money. So, you know, kids are pay for play. So,
yeah, the NIL makes a big difference. SMU's NIL collective is in a really good spot. I mean, just because they're the few. I mean, like I say, SMU has a very small alumni base, but it is a very wealthy alumni base. I mean, if y'all have seen Highland Park, Highland Park is different than the rest of Dallas. It is different. Like, this is where George W. Bush lives, right? Okay. This is a very nice area. You know, TCU's been the beneficiary of this as well. There is so much talent in Dallas-Fort Worth. And a lot of those kids, it's really easy to, after they've been at Auburn or Tennessee or Oregon or wherever the heck, they want to come home. TCU and SMU are really easy landing spots if the money is right. And, you know, if the coach can say, hey, guess who's going to the Pac-12? We are, you know. So I do think that that's probably played a role.
Anybody else want to add anything to that?
You know, my ideas on SMU are a little bit different. I think it's a pretty good fit for the Pac. And I mean, we talked about before the wine and cheese club of the Pac. Right. You know, there's a little bit of snobbery, right? That's just the truth of it and stuff with some of these schools. And I think that SMU fits in culturally from that perspective a lot. I think that recruiting wise, guys, I think that opening up Texas, and I know that's not the premier brand. I know it's not the top 5 premier brand in Texas and college football, but the fact that the Pac-12 is now in the state of Texas, you will be able to pull more kids out. You know, you're going to play at SMU if you're a Utah. Utah hits Texas hard in the recruiting. So I think that there's a huge recruiting benefit to that too. And the last is the added time slot in the Central Time.
Right.
So you can add games at different times. When you're playing at SMU, they're going to be earlier games. So
that's only 6 games though a year. I mean, it's not like it's
But I mean, that's just adding more value to your media partners, right?
I agree. I agree with you. Yeah.
So those are some things to think about with SMU. But yeah, it's not the sexiest brand, right? It's not at all, but it works.
You're right about them being a cultural fit, though. They're definitely a cultural fit. But I would so much rather watch Boise State, Washington State than SMU, Stanford. You know, I wish that the former junior college thing wasn't holding Boise State back. You know, they need to be in the Pac-12.
So let me ask you guys this. This is the thing I always get caught up on with any of these schools that aren't named San Diego State. San Diego State's in a little bit of a different position, but everybody else, is Washington and Oregon going to be okay with having them in a league with them, even for just a few years, knowing that they have to go and play at these places? Their brands playing at SMU. I'm sorry, talk about snobbery. Oregon and Washington do not want to travel to the other side of Dallas to go to SMU and play football. They just don't.
Keep in mind, Autzen Stadium's not that big. It's basically the same size as Rice-Eccles.
Washington. I don't think Oregon would mind it so much.
But Autzen is. It's Texas. There's nothing there.
There's recruiting. You play.
No, I'm talking about everything else, not the recruiting.
The travel.
You're not playing the recruits. You're not playing the recruits, though.
Well, when you're in town, you can recruit in Dallas. You can invite recruits to the game. They can check out Oregon. They hear about Oregon locally. I mean, it's an advantage, I think.
I will defer to you because it's your conference.
And Clint, I don't think Clint wants it, though, because he doesn't want the Pac-12 sniffing around over in the TCU land for recruits.
That's nonsense.
I mean, Oregon's recruited well in Texas for years and years and years. I mean, LaMichael James was committed to TCU for a period of time before he flipped to Oregon. The rumor is because Coach P called him LaMarcus James. So then
is that right?
That's the rumor, is that he was on a visit and he called him LaMarcus, and he's like, never mind, I'm going to Oregon. But yeah, I don't think Oregon would mind for that reason. Oregon's always loved to get Texas talent, and another opportunity to show recruits, hey, here we are, and another uniform, right? But Washington, yeah, you might have some of the snobbery there, like, we have to go to fly over country.
So what percentage? We have 60% for SDSU. Where are we with SMU? Is that 60 as well, or like a little less, 50 or 55?
40.
40. Okay. Larry, you okay with that? It's your conference too.
Yeah, it's kind of a 50-50 for me.
Okay. And they're in the AAC now, right? So is there any chance they go to the Big 12? I'm going to say -0, right?
No. Yeah.
All right. That's what I thought.
-1 billion.
Yeah, right. If we wanted them, we'd already have them. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's our percentages. And the reason I wanted to do this today is because there is definite movement. If you listen to Flugar's show before you joined our show, you heard that from his Arizona money perch as he speaks, he thinks if nothing happens tomorrow, or Wednesday, we're not going to see it for a long time. So if realignment's coming and the Pac-12 is going to have their numbers, whether they leak or not, we can't control. But if they do get those, then after that, you got media days on the 21st of July. So now I'm asking Pac-12, and I'm that Larry and you and everybody in our comment section. If you're a Pac-12 fan, how do you feel? Are you confident, unconfident? Are you just raring to go and you don't care what you hear? Tell us, because I think that emotion is real. What do you think about that?
About the media deal and about how
and the timing, the timing, yeah.
I think that it has to. I mean, we're kind of the inflection point with San Diego State's situation,
right?
Critical, so it makes sense that we would hear, or they would know, and there'd be some movement in the near future. We'll have to see it, though. I mean, like we've kind of guessed at that before, and it's been extended out. So I hope so. But I wouldn't bank on it necessarily. But before we move off this, we need to revise this Washington, Oregon prediction here.
Okay, what do you want it to be?
I think we need to keep this up, Bomber, for the future here, so we can reference this in about a month to see.
Okay, I put a date on it. You see that? Yep, I put a date on it. So what do you want for Oregon, Washington then?
I think Big 12 is 5%.
Okay.
And then I think that Pac 60 and the rest in the Big 10.
So what is that? 65 mean 35?
35 for the Big 10. Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, Larry. So what do you think about this inflection point? That's a good word you used. I appreciate that. And this, basically noose hanging around your neck for 2 more days.
Yeah. So I called into Greg's. I got some information from my guy. It's just one guy. He's tied to the athletic department. I called in and told Greg what I had been told.
Right.
Like 3 weeks, a month ago. And I need to go back and look at it and timestamp it because it's exactly playing out. Oregon and Washington aren't going anywhere.
Okay.
As far as the media deal, there's been media deals put in front of them since June of 2022.
Okay.
Oregon has been fighting the thing the whole way.
Right.
And so they got played by the Big Ten.
Yeah, I think everybody's figured that out now. Yeah.
Yeah. And I reported that to Greg like almost a month ago. And, I was like, I don't know if your Arizona Money Perch guys heard about that because I don't know what his connections are.
Right.
I think the media deal, I just don't know where the linear's coming from. I'm just going to stand behind whatever the university does because they have all the information.
Of course.
If we go to the Big 12, then we go there, and that's who I'm going to root for and who I'm going to watch.
Right.
So I'm just going to support my university. That's kind of where I sit.
Okay. And by the way, we appreciate that. I very much appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I think that loyalty thing is really, we just need to change the messaging for Utah in general. You're loyal to the Pac, but you'll be just as loyal to the next conference you're in. And it's not some sort of, you're not on a death march to, no matter what happens, you're going to go kill your university's prestige and everything else just to carry somebody else's water. I don't see that.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just a few notes that we've gotten here from people that have been given comments. Steven says UConn to the Big 12 is something that recruits are being told. I believe that's happening, just like the SMU we spoke about earlier. Let's see here. Clint Moses, he said the same thing. If you want your chat to be read, guys, you got to give me a super chat because I am absolutely impossible to read these things. Let's see. Clint is confident and fine. He's an Oregon State fan, so he's not unsettled by that. Here's the man right here, Sergeant Pickles. Sergeant Pickles, we needed you about 20 minutes ago.
Sergeant Pickles.
What is your, in fact, can you talk, Pickles? Put your note in there. Can you actually get on a call? Because I have some questions for you.
Yeah, send out that link.
I will if he says yes.
Yep.
Washington, come on, get on.
Come on, Pickles, they need you.
We need to hear from some Washington fans. They've been so radio silent. It's been
there's the
they've been out on the yacht.
Yeah, right. There's the link, Pickles. If you want to talk, if you don't, that's cool. But regardless, he says real quick one. So we're gonna get him. I actually feel honored about that. He's hard to track down. So in fact, I don't even want to say that they are hard to track down. I'm not sure who Sergeant Pickles is. So there's the link. Go ahead and scan that and join us. Larry,
hey, Bomber, I'm going to go on mute because it's going to be about madness to go on the 5 count here. We've never done this before, so this is a community call.
All right, so I'm going to mute everybody but Pickles for a minute. All right? Okay, good. All right, Pickles, how we doing?
Everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can. I can see you too. You got a beard like my brother. That's fantastic. I like. So I'm a Husky, right, fan. If I could be anybody else, it would be University of Washington. So I like seeing your comments because I kind of feel kindred spirits on that. I grew up in Richland. I don't know if you know where that's at, but it's Tri-Cities.
Yep.
Anyways, if you boat races and all that fun stuff. Anyway, so tell us your take on Washington right now.
I've chosen to put the media deal out of my mind because that's a never-ending battle on the internet.
Right.
But I really think the overwhelming, something crazy could happen. I mean, that's been proved over the last 12 months. The overwhelming favorite is they get some kind of media deal. Maybe they add a couple teams and everything stays as it is. I think people want something crazy,
right?
But it's just not the most likely. Is it going to be some? I mean, it stands to reason. Like if they're going to beat the Big 12 number, it's going to have to be some kind of streaming or out of the box option, which I'm actually okay with, because as any Pac fan knows, compared to Pac-12 network, that's still better. Everyone says, oh, streaming's terrible. It's like, well, you can get streaming. You could not get the Pac-12 network. So if you weren't like the Pac-12 After Dark game or the featured game of the week on ESPN, you weren't watching your team. So everyone's like, oh, nobody watches Pac football. It's like, well, a lot of them can't. That's a little different. So.
So this is the question that I've wanted to ask. Is it Rebecca? Is that her name that calls in on Flugar's show? I can't remember her name. If I get it wrong, please, I apologize. But whoever that is that calls in, the information that they've provided has been really cool over the last several months. But the questions I've always had about UW is, first, are you guys okay? And I say the fans, you can't speak for the school, but are the fans okay with being in a conference with an SMU, San Diego State, potentially a Fresno State, or Tulane? How do you guys feel about those partners?
I think the San Diego State one's a little easier to stomach, because we've played them out of conference, plenty of seasons in the past. They've always kind of been one of those schools that shows up on a lot of preseason pack schedules.
Right.
So that one's, it's not too out of the ordinary, and they've had decent teams in the year. Like no one with any kind of common sense is going to sit here and pretend like it's the same as getting USC and UCLA.
Right.
But I think most people don't realize how critical the SoCal recruiting market is. Like, out of Washington's 9 recruits right now, I'm pretty sure 7 of them are from California.
Wow.
So it goes to show you how big a deal that is. And that's for pretty much every Pac school. You go look at the roster, you will see California down the list. And for most schools, it will be their largest percentage of recruits, even for the out-of-state, institutions. So that one's a no-brainer. The SMU one, it makes a lot of sense. It almost seems like it's more like the one to get to 12, and that's nothing against SMU. I think they could really do something great. It's kind of it's a no-lose for them, because if they're not in the Pac, they carry on and they can keep doing good things, and I think they're rebuilding their stadium. If they get into a Pac, that's a huge PR boost for them. And I understand the Big 12 perspective of, oh, well, they're like the 7th, 8th, 10th team, and you talk about the Dallas market, like, who cares?
Right.
But that's coming from the perspective of Big 12 already has, 6 out of those 8 teams after OU and Texas leave. Pac has 0, and you are pulling recruits from Texas. So the difference between 0 and 1 is infinite. The difference between the Big 12 having 6 or 7 teams in Dallas, a lot less. So
the double coverage and stuff.
Hey, Sergeant Pickles, be honest here. So what's the chatter on the ground out there, like in Husky land? Do Washington fans want to be in the Pac now that USC's gone, or what's really happening? What's the talk?
I'm not plugged into all the crazy message boards, because those dudes spin their wheels in circles like any good fan base does.
It's unhealthy. You wouldn't want to do that anyway, I don't think.
It's bad for my mental health. That's why I'm outside.
Right.
But most people are kind of putting it out of their minds for now, just focusing on recruiting, because I think we got an exciting season coming up. Yeah. But the people that are giving it some thought, it's like, all right, SC and UCLA gone. Like, there's no long-term future in the Pac. You're in it until you're out, as harsh as that is. And the only way you're out, no offense to Big 12, it's the Big 10.
Sure.
Yep.
You're waiting until the Big 10 deal. And if it never comes, it never comes. But that's your pathway out. The SEC just doesn't really make sense unless the whole system blows up.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not that we're like 1 foot out the door, but give me the name of another school who would turn down 60, 70 million to go to the Big 12. You'd be lying. So everyone's like, oh, shame on Washington and Oregon. It's like, if that was on the table for you, you'd take it, no questions asked.
Yeah, Utah would take it in a second.
So let me just follow up on that then. So if you're saying that it's either Big 10 or bust, in essence, keep the Pac-12 together, what would your position be if the Big 10 still doesn't bring you in, but they do expand east, which is a very distinct possibility? The ACC could go tomorrow, and they pick up 4 schools. That gets them to 20, and now there's no seats on the bus. I mean, would you guys be willing to then join what would be the next biggest conference, which would be the Big 12? Because they're definitely going to pick up schools in the East.
Yeah, I think the death of the ACC is far less imminent than people say, because as nerdy as this is, people have dove into the bylaws of that GOR way more than me, and you need 8 schools to back out of it. So that means the only reason 8 schools are doing that is if they have a home in the SEC or Big 10, and I don't see 8 homes for schools. So that the just, again, things can go crazy, but as it stands, that logically tells me the ACC is seeing this thing through, and they're so far beyond even the Pac and all these other conferences signing another media deal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't see. I think the conspiracy theories are, well, oh, ESPN controls it. They're willing to bust up the ACC to build their value. It's like, I think people don't realize the TV market or the TV entities, they lose value by destroying a conference. That's why the Pac hasn't really, everyone's like, oh, they want to kill off the Pac. It's like, as reduced value as the Pac has, it has more value as an entity that's whole and, still functioning, as opposed to something that's just detonated and doesn't exist anymore. So it's way more long-term in my mind. I think the call for the Pac, and again, if for some reason those schools can buy their way out of the ACC, it's entirely possible. Like, I don't know, for the Big Ten, it's more academic driven. So you're talking like a North Carolina, University of Virginia.
Right.
You like those big flagship schools that do a lot of research. I could, it'd be a little bit of a bummer to see them taking over Washington and Oregon, but you're not going to see me lose my mind. I mean, that one's kind of just, which one do you want? I think they're kind of on par with an Oregon Washington as far as overall desirability.
Yeah.
The reason to me why I think they would come west again is it makes more sense. You are pushing more into that fourth time zone. It's like the East Coast already watches football. They have it all day. And people say that, people don't care about the Pac after dark, but the weird perspective that someone brought up, it made a lot of sense, is a lot of, gamblers will ride that thing all the way to the late game. And that's actually who's watching. And if you have Big Ten games, you can make that a feature night game, even on the East Coast.
I think that's what they plan on doing with NBC, right?
Yeah,
you're going to have
big
Peacock.
pros and cons list, really.
Right.
Good stuff, Sergeant Pickles.
Do you have? Let me open this up really quick for Larry. Larry, do you have a question for Pickles since we're talking about Pac-12?
No question. Me and him have went back and forth in chats for a long time.
Okay. All right. No problem. How about Clint? Do you have a question before we let him go?
No, I can't think of any questions, but that was real informative, though, honestly.
Yeah, we don't hear enough from Washington fans. Phil, Pickles, I really appreciate you watching our shows. I'm not sure. I think you're watching my Mafia show too, but thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Pickles.
Yeah, no worries, guys. I got the rest of this fence to build, so take it easy. I'll be listening.
We'll talk to you later.
All right.
That's exactly what we thought, right?
Yeah, for
there
sure.
We go. That's the take from Washington. Like the Big 12's not on the site.
Well, as far as the fans are concerned.
As far as the fans are concerned.
I don't think we could totally write it off because the money disparity right now, they just cast a $44 million check and Pac-12 did $28 million. So there's a lot of money left on the table there. So I guess we'll have to see. Let me open Larry back up here. Larry, did you have any other questions you wanted to make sure we got out? I did want to make one announcement before Larry went. We're talking BYU's Big 12 Day is on Saturday. I'm not sure who asked that question in the chat, but I may or may not be doing a show that day. I'm going to go down to the event. I'm doing some stuff with one of the NILs, so I might even go down there and broadcast on Saturday. But either way, if you're a BYU fan and you're watching right now, go to the Big 12 opening. It's just like the Utah one they did, it was 12 or 13 years ago. It's going to be a big day. And you can really get the thing kicked off with all the other fans. So I want to make sure everybody knows about that. Clint, did you have any other things you wanted to go over while you were with us?
Well, I was hoping we'd talk a little Mountain West memories.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, absolutely. If you want to talk about when we were all in the same conference, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, so I had the good fortune of going to, because like I said, I worked for the team in school, so I went to our game against BYU in 2009, and I saw a game at Rice Eccles in 2010. Both of them were win.
Gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. Both of them were game day too. But
that's awesome.
But yeah, I was just saying it was fun to be able to see games, granted from the field, at both of y'all's prospective stadiums. Both very cool stadiums, very cool atmospheres. Utah was very colorful, I remember. Before the game. During the game, it's quite quiet. But before the game, there was a lot of insults being thrown.
That's a dig right there.
That was military night too, right?
Oh,
it was.
Yes.
Yes.
Military.
Yes.
So Clint, that was the worst game I've ever attended in person.
Yeah, they did
sure.
not
Utah
show
got
out.
beat down so bad. It was the worst. Like I think I left in the third quarter and it was horrible.
That TCU team was incredible, though.
That was the
It
Rose
was
Bowl
an
team.
incredible team. Yeah.
I have a
super mad at
question.
y'all though for crapping the bed against Notre Dame the following week. I was like, really?
Yeah. Larry's got a question for you, Clint. Go ahead, Larry.
Do you guys have a statue of Andy Dalton on campus yet? Or
We do not. No, we have statues of Davey O'Brien, who's the only Heisman winner. We have a statue of Coach P and a statue of Dutch Meyer, who's the coach who won 2 national championships. And now we have a statue of James Cash, who was the first ever black athlete at TCU. He was a basketball player, and he's now has a doctorate from Harvard, and he's a really awesome guy. But yeah, no Andy Dalton statues. Probably not. We'd probably have an LT statue before we'd have an Andy Dalton statue.
All right. Well, he's burned into my memory. I don't like that guy.
He's a great dude. He's a great guy.
Andy Dalton, he knows how to win football games in college. That's
hey
one
guys,
of
let's
in
go through
college.
this exercise real quick here, okay? So
Yeah, go ahead.
TCU, according to the odds makers, is a win-loss total for the year is 7.5. So pick around 7 or 8 games we're thinking of.
Right.
Can I share my screen and we can just
Go ahead. Bring it up.
do a quick assessment of where we think the wins and losses are?
You
just
betcha.
As a group.
While you're doing that, I want to give a shout out to Daniel Gygax, who's here, and also BR's in the house. Hey, guys.
What's up, guys?
Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. I'm glad we're on longer so you guys can be here. All right, let me bring up. There we go. Can you make that? You have an issue with those things being so small,
man,
dude.
the small screen.
Can you
Can
make
see
it? Hit the control button and scroll up on your mouse, and it makes the whole page bigger.
And do the little one of these.
You understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. Sorry, guys. Mac computer versus I'm a PC
Oh,
guy.
it's a Mac. That's jeez.
So here's
Anyway, we got Colorado game 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
Colorado
is
game
the Buffaloes
1.
right here.
Oh, you're gonna have to tell us because we can't read it.
All right, then I'm stopping the screen share. So game 1,
Sure.
Colorado. Win-loss.
For
So, okay,
TCU, we're talking.
Before we get into game by game, let me just say that this season could go one of 2 ways. All right. I'm inclined to hit the over on that 7.5 games, but it's so much hinges on offensive line development and whether or not Chandler Morris is for real, right? Because we have seen Chandler Morris be amazing against Baylor. What was that? 2 years ago? But we've also seen him terrible against Colorado last year before he got hurt and against Oklahoma State 2 years ago. So which Chandler Morris are we going to see? Supposedly he's come along very nicely and he's developed well. I don't know. I think that we have added a lot of talent in the transfer portal and the defense should be good. It's just a matter of, can we reload on offense? And, that offensive coordinator that we questionably hired,
Right.
if he's going to be able to deliver the goods. So we can go game by game now. I do feel like in any scenario, I feel like Colorado's a win. I feel like the hype around Colorado is a tad overblown. At least it's too early for it to be as high as it is, in my opinion. And then we got Nicholls State.
Scary
That's
game
as
for
well.
you guys. I do. I think that TCU, Colorado is going to be closer, as Lee Corse would say, than the experts.
Oh, I'm sure it'll
Which
be
game-
uncomfortable.
which
I'm
game
sure it'll
is
be
it?
uncomfortable.
Colorado versus TCU.
I know.
game.
What's week is that?
Week
The
1.
first week.
Oh, no way. Colorado's no.
It'll probably be game day, but we have them at home.
No.
And I mean, I don't know, all that practice footage. I'm like, are these high school kids? Are these college players?
Yeah, I don't.
Like,
All of his health issues, and you're putting a team together, basically like what did we talk about? Like a Frankenstein. You're trying to do in 8 months? I mean, I think that's crazy. Larry,
Yeah.
what do you think about that? Colorado.
Element of surprise is the only thing TCU's, because there's no tape. You don't know what
Right.
Colorado's going to do.
That's true.
yeah.
And that's the scariest thing. We experienced that going and playing Florida with Anthony Richardson and Napier. So that's the only thing. I mean, I think TCU's got a more continuity.
Right.
So I'm going to give TCU the win, but I think it's going to be a heck of a lot closer than people think.
Okay. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. All right.
I'm sure it'll be uncomfortable. Last year was uncomfortable, and they were one of the worst teams in the country, and we went to the national championship. Like,
right. All right. So what's your name?
We're all a win there. So 1-0 for the Horned Frogs. Nichols.
That's a win.
Okay. Yeah. Don't even have to talk about
so now game 3 at Houston.
That's a win as well.
Yep. That's a win.
Yeah. Houston is not in a good spot right now.
No, they're not.
No.
Game 4, it looks like you're SMU.
That's a win as well.
That's a win.
Yeah,
that's a win.
They're coming to Fort Worth. Hey,
so that's 5-0. That's 5-0.
Let me tell you, the BYU game is interesting.
Yes.
We are going to start this season either 6 or 7-0. And then it gets interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Then it's like, whoa, what happened?
It depends which team you get. We'll have to find out week 7.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Right now, I'd pick TCU in the BYU game, but it might be a pick 'em. But it just depends. If BYU goes 5-1 the first 6 weeks, I'm telling you, they could be really, really good.
Yeah,
their only loss was Arkansas.
So. I'm real excited about that game. A lot of folks like me who remember the Mountain West days are going to be excited about that game. Who remember like 2008 and 2005 and all those fun. That was a fun rivalry with BYU.
It sure was, and I'm looking forward to it. That one and Baylor, I absolutely love right out of the gate. I think Oklahoma State could be something too.
Yeah.
Is this big enough? Can you guys see this now?
Barely, but yeah, we can see it now. Iowa State, West Virginia. We haven't done those yet.
Virginia.
Those will be wins.
Okay.
West Virginia, I always worry about West Virginia in Morgantown. We play horribly in Morgantown, but we've got them at home. I feel good about that. Iowa State is just, they've trended down in the last year. So that's not one I'm particularly worried about. But yeah, BYU is when it starts to get interesting.
Okay. Kansas State.
This game's at home.
I think we're losing to Kansas State. I hate to lose to them again. I think we're losing to them.
They have a good team, people. If you don't know about Kansas State, you need to get educated. They're going to be good.
All right, so here we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1 loss with K-State, right? 7.
Yeah, we'll say that.
Bye week at Texas Tech.
It hurts me, but I think we're losing to Tech. We've won 4 in a row, and they have a ton of momentum. And playing in Lubbock sucks. I think we'll lose that game. And I'm gonna concede Texas Tech because I'm manifesting we absolutely have to beat Texas in their last year.
Right.
I will not abide us losing to Texas in their last year. So I'm gonna say we're gonna lose to Tech and beat Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech, that's gonna be a pick 'em too, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a loss. And I think that next week too. Oh, I think it's a loss too. Yeah.
I mean, hey, everyone's saying Texas is back. I mean, one of these years y'all are gonna be right, but I'll believe it when I see it. We've had Texas's number ever since we joined the conference. We've won 8 out of 12.
You and everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't really done anything in a decade or more. So, yeah. Anyway,
so we're at a 7-3 or an 8-2 right now, and then we're going into the Baylor game for TCU.
I think we'll beat Baylor. Baylor hadn't looked the same since that first year with Dave Aranda.
Yep.
And we got them at home.
Yeah, I was just going to say, where's it at? Okay. I agree with that.
I agree with you.
Yeah. I'm thinking 9-3. And depending on how chaotic the conference is, maybe we back our way into the Big 12 championship, or maybe we just go to the Alamo Bowl or Orlando Bowl, Pop-Tart Bowl, whatever.
So the Oklahoma game is the week after we have them, and we have them in Provo.
Oh, okay.
So that could very easily be they could be coming off a loss.
Yeah, if y'all beat them up for us, then that'd be helpful.
I currently today on my pick'em I have BYU beating them at home.
Wow.
Get those 28-year-old offensive linemen to lean on them a little bit.
There we go. Bring out the old gaslighting. I love it. Can't wait for more. More gaslighting. Just give it to me. I can't wait.
So I'm at 8-4. Clint's at 9-3.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're hanging. We're on the over here.
What do you think, Larry? Are you over 7.5?
I think the BYU. I've got 4 losses that I can see. That BYU and that Iowa State, I think, are going to be the two. Because Iowa State's got a good defense. And like you said, if Morris isn't good, he doesn't want to go up against Iowa State's defense.
If Morris isn't good, we might miss a bowl. We might miss a bowl.
Wow. I'm on that. I'm on the 7.5. They're going to go 8-4 or 7 in my opinion.
I would agree with you, Larry. I think 7.5 is the exact number. The numbers that they don't know and they can't pick are the new 4 teams, right? Except for Houston. UCF could win 8 or 9 games. They have a pretty easy schedule. And Cincinnati, I think, might be a little better than we're assuming with the drop-off and Luke Fickell moving. So I think BYU and UCF by far are the ones that have the best chance to represent the group, that new group.
Absolutely
into the league. But I am not looking forward to the TCU game. I'm just telling you right now. I have nightmares of Mountain West games late at night, and I'm still traumatized. So
hey, well, if you make it down to Fort Worth, baby, let's link up.
Oh, absolutely. If I can make it to some of these games, all the people that I've been working with will absolutely go out. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm only 2 hours. I'm only 2 hours away from UCF.
Are you really?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in Central Florida.
Well, because I was thinking maybe I'd go to that game and my wife could go to Disneyland and I could go to the game. I think I could pull that off. Maybe actually, the more I think about it, yes. But I would love for you to come up, Larry. There's already some UCF guys that I've been talking to, but man, I'd love to meet you. And do you ever make it back here?
I try not to.
Okay.
But I could.
Well, I mean, it's obviously up to you, but me and you would love to get together with you. And I think that we could get lunch and have a gay old time.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Maybe we could work it out when both BYU and Utah are at home at the same time. I'm not sure when that is. I haven't looked on the schedule. I haven't compared them or anything. But anyway, just keep them in mind. If there's a game that you want to get to, you think you can afford the ticket, I'd love to meet you.
Hang out. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Let's see here. We got off track.
Wind it
Sorry,
down,
guys.
Bomber. We got to wind it down. We got to wind it down here.
No,
can I give you one more story, Bomber, before we do wind it down?
Of course, yeah, please go ahead.
So the Rose Bowl season, my sophomore year, right before our game against BYU, the news had come out about that BYU was going to go independent, right? And I was like, this is so ridiculous. Utah's leaving, BYU's leaving. It's like Southwest Conference all over again. Everyone's leaving for us for dead. This is so stupid.
Right.
And like we were all complaining about it in the equipment room. And one of my jobs before the game was to put up all of the conference flags on the east side of the stadium, right?
Okay.
And I said to my boss, I was like, we should put up the BYU flag upside down. And he's like, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, right. You know, absolutely don't do that. But me as a sophomore in college, I'm like, he didn't say no.
Nice.
So I went and I put the BYU flag upside down, and it was on message boards like immediately.
Oh,
look what TCU's doing. How could they do this?
That's funny.
He was like, "What the hell is wrong with you? Go change the flag now! Like we don't need this publicity."
So I think that's funny. Actually, I think that's very funny. It was, and that was a traumatic time for us. So that was a horrible year in general. Everything about it was bad. So I'm glad you gloried in it because I did not. That's okay. Somebody ought to.
We all have our ups and downs, you know.
All I can tell you is we're very happy to be in the Big 12. Frankly, we should have done it 12 years ago, and we can't wait to get back to play you, and for that matter, everybody else in the conference. I can't think of one group that I wouldn't, want to do stuff with. So I'm really looking forward to that. Is there anything else you want to say before we go?
Just thanks for having me.
Oh,
please
you bet.
Subscribe to the channel.
No, it was thank you. Yeah, please subscribe. It was one of those situations where you sends me a message. He says, "Do you care if I have this guy on?" And I admit I didn't know what your name was. I seen your videos.
It was by popular demand, Clint.
Yeah, evidently. Yeah, by demand. That's it.
Some of our community members actually requested you, so
there you go.
Thank you to the community. I have a new video out right now about the effect of IHOP pancakes on athletic performance.
Right.
This is a mockumentary covering TCU baseball's meteoric run through the postseason, thanks to IHOP. So check that out. It's definitely a departure from a lot of my other videos, but I had fun making it.
I think it's cool. Tell everybody your address. What's the address of your site?
So my YouTube channel, you just search my name. Just search Clint Foster. I think the handle's Clint Foster Comedy on YouTube. But you can find me on Twitter at Clint_Foster55. That's where I'm the most active. And my Instagram is at the Clint Foster if you're so inclined. But I'm a lot more active on Twitter to talk a lot more mess.
Well, we'd love to have you, and we'll have to do it again. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you have something you need to get out, you're doing something that is promotional or commercial that we could help you with, do not hesitate to send one of us a DM.
Wonderful. I appreciate that, y'all. And I'll let y'all know
right.
the second I'm putting out another BYU or Utah related content.
That's good. Okay, and if you're going to do a BYU Utah Holy War one, I think that'd be great, but it needs to be covering the last 50 years. It can't just cover the last 9, which is all Utah wants to cover.
We've got to premiere that on.
There's no recency bias.
Utah.
Yeah,
it's got to be on this channel.
It has to be from 1970 to 2022. You got 52 years there. All right. Okay. It's going to take you a while because there's a lot out there about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And Larry, always really enjoy you always joining, and you're always welcome, of course.
Yeah. Before I go, I'm going to go back onto YouTube. Make sure you put your email address in the chat, then I can copy it.
I did. I put it in the private chat. You gave me yours, right?
Yeah, I don't see your. Oh, there it is. Wait. Okay, yeah.
Hang on. I'll just do it right now. Hang on. This is my I don't really care if people have I'll just block you if I don't know you. There, that's my personal one. Do you see it?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, just send it right to that and it'll come right to me. And if you wouldn't mind, give me your number. I can text you.
Yeah.
And that's a little quicker.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
All right, bud.
I can't wait. I've been waiting to hear from you, so I'm really excited.
All right, bud.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you. Bye.
All right, Ute. So I guess we can wrap this up. I think there was somebody that wanted
conversation here on Twitter. It sounds like we're going to have some realignment news. It sounds like, at least according to Peek Around the Corner, next couple of days. So yeah, just be on your toes, and we'll keep talking about this. The conversation always continues on the Twitter. So
and before we go, I want to bump this again for Coug Connect. They're doing an event where they're bringing, I'll just read it, Thursday night from 6:30 to 9 at the Chubby's outside the University Mall in Orem. It's right next to the Cineplex Theater. They're doing an event with players. 20 players are going to be, roughly 20 players will be there. And it's a meet and greet from 6:30 to 9 on Thursday. And I may be there doing a show, actually. I haven't figured that out quite yet, but regardless, you're invited to come. And we're trying to get people to sign up for this NIL. So you can show up, and if you're not a subscriber, it's generally for a subscriber count, but you can sign up right there. It's $10. They let you in the VIP room, and you get to meet these players. And they're also selling that shirt that you see there. It's a knit shirt, high quality. I believe it's a Nike shirt. And it's I believe you can like tailor it with numbers and whatnot, but you'll get, if you buy one of those, you also get an autograph with one of the players on it. You get to pick whoever's there. We'll sign that for you. So it's $90. Again, if you like BYU gear, they're pretty cool. I've seen them, and I think it would be neat for you guys to check them out. So I think that's all I have. Please subscribe, like us on Twitter, and follow us on Twitter. And again, if you want to be a major part of the family, do a subscription for $5 a month. Hit the join button right on my web YouTube page, and you can join for $5, and all your comments will be highlighted, and we always answer them. We had over 200 comments today, and I didn't have any super chats, which is totally fine, but it meant that there was a bunch I missed, and I apologize about that, but I just can't do them all. And then leave us comments and suggestions. You've already said we took this idea from a comment from one of the viewers. So if you have something you want us to cover that we're not, please let us know. But right now it's realignment until we get something settled, hopefully before the season starts.
Definitely.
Anyway, we'll sign off. Wild Ute, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And again, Clint, thanks for showing up and spending time with us. I really appreciate it. There we go. Everybody's got their little sign. Mine is peace. Everybody have a great night.
Good night, y'all.
Oh, let me do this bump. I love this bump. Here we go.